Tonight on News 22.
New jobs are coming to Las Cruces.
Stolen items are now easier to retrieve.
And early voting for City Council started today.
All that and more on News 22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kaylin Starrett.
And I'm Abran Ramos. Early machine voting is underway for the Las Cruces municipal elections. Voters are choosing 4 members of the city council and 1 judge. During early voting, 3 is only one place to cast your vote. It's in the city hall. For the first time, the city is using voting machines for early voting. By noon today, 30 people had voted. While that's not many, the city clerk says it's really pretty good and a little better than what was expected. Early voting will continue until November 4th. Election day is November 7th.
KRWG has joined with the League of Women Voters in hosting candidate forums. Last week, we saw the candidate for City Council District 3. And this week, the forum features the candidates for District 5. They're incumbent Gil Sorg and challenger Steve Montanez. One issue they were asked about is the public financing of campaigns.
I support it to the point where if there's a level playing field. Unfortunately, we don't have that today. We have PACs, PACs, super PACs that come into elections and spend huge amounts of money that the candidate can't control, and so that if they are not controlled, I do not support public financing of elections.
I can agree that there are, there are outside PACs, and they are in every single election. In the last election, we even saw it in the municipal race. The solution is not to use taxpayer dollars to fund somebody else's campaign. And there are a lot of restrictions that that come with that. What's happening in other municipalities is if you accept campaign funding from the city, then you're limited to what you can accept from the private sector.
This forum was recorded last night. You can see it here on KRWG tomorrow evening at 7, right after News 22. Governor Susana Martinez says more jobs are on the way to New Mexico. She announced Raytheon will be expanding its manufacturing operations to Albuquerque, creating 60 new high-tech manufacturing jobs. New Mexico is currently the 3rd fastest growing economy and was also recently ranked 7th in the nation for private sector job growth, creating nearly 19,000 new private sector jobs over the last year. New jobs are coming to Las Cruces as well.
As News 22's Mike Vigil reports, they are much needed because many jobs have left.
October, the call center company TLC Associates announced it was bringing nearly 350 jobs to Las Cruces.
Well, it's huge. This is something here that we've been working with other companies that since Cytel left.
The company will take over the old Cytel building that's been empty since it closed its doors back in March, leaving almost 400 people without jobs.
They're going to really bring back a lot of jobs that was lost, and then of course with our other new company that's coming in, that's almost 500 jobs. So
that other new company being Sprouts, the organic-based grocery chain that is opening a new store in Las Cruces early next year.
That's something there that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to that.
When it opens in the old Hastings building, it will add another 120 jobs. That's a total of 470 coming to Las Cruces in early 2018.
It means, number one, the people that need jobs can find them from Cytel closing, and an opportunity for them to continue in their chosen field.
That number of new jobs alone can lower the unemployment rate, which was at 6.8% in the month of August.
It can impact it anywhere from 2 to 3 tenths of a percentage point, almost a half a percentage point. The unemployment is pretty high for this area at this time. So there's people always looking for work.
Richard Wagner of New Mexico Workforce Solutions says TLC Associates offers opportunities for people with all different types of skill sets.
It's a wide range of people, it's a wide range of ages. Call center becomes a little bit more elaborate, where the IT positions, medical positions, those become really, really skilled skill level positions.
On top of the 470 jobs coming to Las Cruces, TLC Associates is also hiring an additional 150 employees in El Paso, making for an increase of 620 jobs in the borderland region expected in early 2018. Mike Vigil, News 22.
So we had a fairly cloudy day today outside.
Yeah, it was so nice. I hope it keeps like this good. Alyssa's next with our first look at weather.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at our current conditions. So right now we are seeing cloudy skies with a temperature of 77 degrees. The winds were at 2 miles per hour in the southwest direction. Humidity at 32%. Dew point at 48 degrees. And the barometer sat at 29.86 inches. Today our high was at 82 degrees, our low was at 58 degrees. Our high was a little bit above our average, which is usually at 78 degrees. Let's take it back in time. In 1991, we saw a high of 89 degrees, and in 1966, we saw a chilly 31 degrees. That's all I have right now. Let's take it back to the desk.
But there's not an E. So, we are having some technical difficulties. The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Office is encouraging residents to use a new online cataloging system that could help expedite the return of valuables to victims in the event of a burglary. It's called Report It, and it's a free property inventory system available to anyone in Doña Ana County. You can log on and fill out an inventory of your goods and register online. If you're interested, get in touch with the Sheriff's Office.
A Las Cruces woman is dead after she was run over last night on State Road 478 and Addington Road. She is identified as Carla Villa. Investigators say Villa was dressed in dark clothing and walked into traffic while waving her hands. The driver of the vehicle swerved to avoid hitting Villa, but hit her with the passenger side mirror. A second driver ran over Villa as she was laying in the road after being hit. Officers learned that it was Villa who was drinking alcohol prior to the incident. The accident is still under investigation. The NMSU campus is safe. After a short scare last night, police from NMSU and Las Cruces, as well as the Doña Ana County Bomb Squad, were on the scene of a suspicious device that was found at the NMSU Alumni Center. Warning messages were sent out to students and faculty, and the area was declared clear an hour after the device was found. The state New Mexico Secretary of Public Education will revise its controversial proposal for new science teaching standards. The announcement came after hundreds of scientists, educators, and faith leaders attended a hearing on the standards. Dozens voiced opposition, saying the teaching guidelines would weaken science education and could open the classroom door to politics, big business, and religion. The Public Education Department has come under fire from educators, scientists, and others for eliminating and reference to humans' impact on global temperatures, the environment, age of the planet, and many of the principles of evolution, among other concepts. People crowded in the Las Cruces School Board meeting last night.
And most were there for one thing. It was the first meeting in which they started the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance in both Spanish and English. The third grade class from J. Paul Taylor Academy was chosen to lead the people in the pledge.
Doing the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish in this part of the country is especially important because we have such a strong heritage of freedoms for our Spanish-speaking population. Those freedoms are guaranteed by a lot of treaties and also by the Constitution.
The pledge in both languages will be a feature of the meetings from now on. An undocumented immigrant in Colorado is taking refuge inside a church.
She's taking shelter with her son instead of heading back to Peru.
Keep my family all together because we don't want to separate.
We expected to speak with Ingrid Latore today, but from the Denver airport before a flight to Peru. Instead, we found her here in Fort Collins, defying immigration officials by taking sanctuary at Foothills Unitarian Church.
I decided to go back to my country, but my older son told me he don't want to go back to Peru.
Ingrid tells us she's prepared to stay here until the end of the Trump presidency, sleeping on this cot, adding another chapter to her high-profile case. In May, we shared with you these images of her leaving sanctuary from a separate Denver church because ICE gave her permission to fight her forged documents conviction. Just weeks ago, we covered her vigil and fast outside the governor's mansion. But when her pardon request was denied, she was out of options. This church, her only legal recourse, since immigration agents don't make arrests inside churches.
Well, my kids are going to stay with me.
Tonight, ICE is calling Ingrid a fugitive, saying her criminal record and the fact she's been, quote, illegally present in the U.S. for 15 years makes her a priority for removal. But back at the church,
We're going to stay together, eh?
Ingrid's son Brian and her other son Annabelle, who we caught sleeping on the grass, are just happy their mom decided to stay, even if it means living in a church.
I'm happy to stay because I don't have to leave to Peru because I don't know that place that much. And I may get lost and then I can't find my mom.
Stay tuned. Alyssa will be back with your national forecast.
And later, couples in Texas celebrated a spooky kind of ceremony this past weekend. More on that when News 22 continues.
Las Cruces and El Paso share a lot of history. See why we say Texas history begins in El Paso on our El Paso Gold Heritage documentary series, broadcast Sunday nights on KRWG TV. See Legends of El Paso's Mountains, Gunfights of the Old West, El Paso's Waco Tanks, Mexican Revolution sites in El Paso, and many more El Paso TV documentaries on KRWG TV.
Saturday at 12 noon on KRWG TV.
You're invited to Tapas and Talk, an opportunity to chat with KRWG staff members about TV, radio, and online programming. Tapas and Talk is 5 to 7 Wednesday night, October 25th at Salud de Mesilla. Join us for hors d'oeuvres, soft drinks, and great conversation. We look forward to meeting you October 25th from 5 to 7 at Salud de Mesilla. We'll see you there.
Eating the right kinds of carbs this holiday season will help curb our cravings for the bad ones.
Here's Reed Brion with today's Health Minute.
As we head into the height of the holiday season with Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas just around the corner, it's tough not to crave the carbs of comfort food and all those sweet treats. After all, carbohydrates are some of the most important things we consume for energy. But that means eating the right kinds of carbs. When we eat a lot of processed carbs such as white bread, white rice, most baked goods, and pastas, our blood sugar spikes rapidly and insulin quickly follows, directing all of those calories into the liver, muscle, and fat cells, sometimes leading to weight gain and a higher risk of diabetes. A professor of nutrition at Harvard says when our fat cells get too much energy, there's not enough for the brain to monitor the calories in our blood. That causes the brain to think we need more calories, which triggers our hunger and cravings. However, when we eat high-quality carbs such as minimally processed grains, whole fruits, and beans, they not only digest more slowly, they can also curb our cravings for those highly processed carbs. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
Today, Governor Susana Martinez unveiled a new prescription drug discount card. This card will be available to all New Mexico families at no cost. She unveiled the new card at a Walgreens in Albuquerque this morning. It helps people get discounts on their prescriptions.
The 3rd Judicial District Attorney's Office will join La Casa to observe the 20th annual Candlelight Visual. Since 1981, October has been celebrated as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The observance serves remembrance to those whose lives were lost and educate about intervention services that can help prevent and raise awareness about domestic abuse. The theme of this year's visual is Out of the Shadow into the Light and will be held tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m. So I wonder what the weather's looking like around the nation.
I don't know. Let's find out. Alyssa's here with our national forecast.
Welcome back, guys. Let's take a look at our national weather. So for today in Chicago, they saw a high of 70 degrees. Salt Lake City saw a high of 71 degrees. Las Vegas, 83 degrees. Phoenix, 96 degrees. New Orleans at 77 degrees. And let's take a look at our next map. So in our next map, we're seeing here in California, we know that they've experienced some fires lately. So the poor air quality in the area will continue to affect areas downward of the blazes. They're expecting some rain within the region late Thursday into Friday. And the rain is not expected to do much with the fires, but it will cool down temperatures. Let's take a look at my next map so we can view the system. So here we have a jet stream moving eastward in the eastward direction. Wind should reach to 15 to 30 miles per hour into Northern California. Wind could interfere with firefighting containment, but the winds will not be as rampant as they were last week because of the low temperatures. That's all I have for the national weather right now. Stay tuned and we'll take a look at the region's weather.
The Doña Ana Arts Council, presenting the Renaissance Arts Fair, magicians, jousters, arts and crafts, food and games, Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th at Young Park in Las Cruces. The Renaissance Arts Fair is New Mexico true.
On Masterpiece, Reverend Osborne Whitworth.
Oh, pray you excuse me, sir.
I assure you my love will be returned.
Make sure all's ready. Run!
How do you sleep at night, George? Perhaps you should ask Elizabeth. Poldark on Masterpiece.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Next time on A Chef's Life, catfish is misunderstood.
Okay, guys, what do you think we got?
There's 10,000 pounds.
Is that good?
No, yeah, that's a good bunch of fish.
So it's safe to say my catfish ceviche is not a hit.
I thought it was going to be fried catfish. I got all excited.
Wait, don't you need some salt or anything in there?
You're right.
I know that hurt you hard to say that.
I'm getting the horse before the cart.
Saturday morning at 10 on KRWG TV.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at weather around our region. So in Farmington, they saw right now it is 67 degrees. In Gallup, 68 degrees. Clovis, 71 degrees. Ruidoso at 65 degrees. Las Cruces at 77 degrees. And Deming at 79 degrees. Tomorrow, we are expecting a high of 71 in Farmington, 68 in Santa Fe, 73 in Clovis. Ruidoso is expecting 65 degrees, Roswell 73 degrees, and Deming 86 degrees. In Alamogordo, they are expecting an overnight low of 63 degrees and a high tomorrow of 78 degrees with some expected thunderstorms. In Truth or Consequences, they are expecting an overnight low of 64 degrees and tomorrow a high of 81 degrees, also expecting some thunderstorms. Finally, in Silver City, they are expecting an overnight low of 54 degrees and a high of 75 degrees. And in the city of Las Cruces, we are expecting an overnight low of 64 degrees and a high tomorrow 82 degrees with some predicted thunderstorms. That's all I have for right now. Stay tuned for the 5-day forecast.
A family in Denver found a surprise on their front porch.
That's the first story in tonight's Southwest Minute.
A Colorado mom and her 2 kids are safe, but 4 people are in the hospital after a bus crashed into a Denver home. Cassie Fernandez received a call that an RTD bus slammed into her front porch. Fernandez says she panicked because her 2 children play outside constantly. Thankfully, her kids were not present at the time, and nobody was home. Passengers were pulled off the bus and 4 of them were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Work to remove the bus and stabilize the structure is underway. A mother and her 5 young children are dead after a house fire on Wednesday morning. Texas firefighters responded to an alarm after a neighbor saw the flames and called 911. A small apartment behind the main house was engulfed in flames. 6 bodies were found inside after the flames were put out. The children ranged in age from 3 to 11. An Arizona woman accused of tampering with baby formula will not be going to jail as of Tuesday. Jennifer LaPlante admitted to police that she mixed other powders into the baby formula and returned it to the stores to get cash. At least one baby needed hospital treatment when it was given the tainted formula. LaPlante received up to 7 years of probation. LaPlante pleaded guilty to the charges. For the Southwest Minute, I am Marlene Barraza.
So the Aggies football team is coming off a big win this past weekend.
Yeah, they sure are. Faith's next with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, find out why an NFL player is giving away his entire season paycheck. Don't lose faith because News22 Sports is next.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Hey, this is David Shaw with The Revivalists, and you can catch our show on Infinity Hall Live.
We're doing it for Infinity Live all night,
baby! Infinity Hall Live. Great music, pure and simple.
Saturday at 11 p.m. on KRWG TV.
This is KRWG TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm Faith Shafani, and let's talk sports. The Aggies are coming off a win against Georgia Southern this past weekend. The final score was 35-27, and they're now sitting with a record of 3-4, and Georgia Southern still has yet to win a game this season. The Aggies' next game will be against Arkansas State on Saturday, October 28th at 6 p.m. for the homecoming game. Centennial now has a record of 5-5 after their big comeback this weekend. Going into the fourth quarter, the Hawks were down 23-14. In the fourth quarter, Centennial stepped up the game and scored a touchdown with 9 minutes left. They then held Mayfield from converting a first down, and the Hawks took over. With 6 minutes left in the game, Lance Frost had a 5-yard touchdown run to take the lead 29-23. Joseph Hernandez of Centennial then had an interception, which led to another Hawks touchdown. The final score was 37-23.
I think it's an in-city rivalry game, and I think our kids came out a little unsure. Mayfield has great tradition, and we knew they were going to come out and fight. They had an open week before they played us, so we knew they were going to come out and fight. They didn't want to lose this game, and they did, and they came out and played well, and they got some good players. And I think we just had to withstand those first couple punches, and we just had to kind of calm ourselves. And the second half, I just talked about just play great. In the second half, it's great. It's going to be a great story if we come back from this, and they did. I think our kids played really well in the second half. We played physical, and the turnovers helped.
Las Cruces traveled to Carlsbad this past weekend and beat the Cavemen 45-6. And the Dodgers are just one win away from heading to the World Series. In their game last night against the Cubs, they were down in the bottom of the first. The Dodgers then made a quick comeback when Andre Ether hit a line drive to the right field for a single home run in the top of the second. On to the top of the fifth. Chris Taylor tripled, which brought Jock Peterson home to raise the Dodgers' lead 3-1. Then in the top of the eighth, Kyle Farmer hit a sacrifice fly to bring in Austin Barnes, sealing a win for the Dodgers. The Dodgers and Cubs will play again tonight at Wrigley Field. An NFL star is giving up his entire season of paychecks. Eagles defensive end Chris Long is donating his remaining 10-game paychecks to organizations that support educational opportunity and equality in Philadelphia, St. Louis, and Boston. During his 10-year career, he has played in all 3 of these cities. He has already donated his first 6 game paychecks to students in need of scholarships in Charlottesville, Virginia. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Alyssa will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, an exchange of furry fists was caught on camera. Find out more when News 22 returns.
On Masterpiece.
A prison break on French soil with respectable men who are surely being led to their death.
Load your weapons. We make a stand.
He's hit!
Poldark on Masterpiece.
Sunday at 8 p.m. on KRWG TV.
25 years behind the lens. A tapestry of images that capture the human condition. What does it mean to train your camera on the world? Camera Person.
Monday at 9 p.m. on KRWG TV.
Let's take a look at our top stories. More jobs are coming to Las Cruces. Places like Sitel and Sprouts are opening up locations in the city, and with those new businesses comes a need for employees. A new website from LCPD is helping theft victims. Report It is a website that helps LCPD return items lost in a burglary in a timely manner. A suspicious package was found yesterday on the NMSU campus. Emergency notifications were sent out to students and faculty, and the scene was clear in about an hour.
Kangaroos in Australia are notorious for fighting each other, and this fight was caught on camera. An Australian police helicopter captured amazing video of a night karoo fight club. The rumble took place somewhere in the Victoria's region bushlands. The fight was captured in the middle of the night by Victoria Police helicopter infrared camera. The two animals used their arms and legs to fight one another, while a third kangaroo can be seen in the background. Kangaroos are the largest marsupial species in the world and are native to Australia.
So I know I'm going to be out on a church retreat this weekend, so I'm wondering what's that 5-day forecast going to look like?
Right, so for tomorrow, the only day we should expect some showers is Friday. As for the rest of the week, it should be warm and sunny. And that's all for the weather in Las Cruces.
Wow, that sounds great.
Sounds like it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah. And don't forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on your YouTube page. Thanks, guys. That's all for tonight. I'm Kaylin Starrett.
I'm Albron Ramos.
And I'm Alyssa Tejas.
Have a good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Bienvenidos a este breve informativo de Noticias 22. Les saluda Melissa Barraza. Un hombre de Las Cruces es arrestado por sospechas de robo a un local de teléfonos celulares. Kevin Altamirano, de 25 años, cuenta con cargos de intento de robo y manipulación de evidencia. En la mañana del pasado viernes, Altamirano entró a la tienda Cricket Wireless de la calle Main, luego escribió un mensaje en su teléfono y se lo mostró a un empleado. El mensaje exigía que el empleado abriera la caja y le diera el dinero, o si no, Altamirano abriría fuego con una arma que él tenía cubierta. Pero el sospechoso se fue de la tienda sin llevarse dinero cuando otro cliente entró. Se cree que Altamirano fue alentado por un familiar que trabaja en la tienda a llevar a cabo el delito. Altamirano fue arrestado y ahora se encuentra en la cárcel de Doña Ana sin fianza. El último hombre sospechoso en conexión con el asesinato del agente de la patrulla fronteriza Brian Terry en el año 2010 fue arrestado. Jesús Rosario Favela Astorga, de 37 años de edad, fue detenido el pasado fin de semana en México. Astorga cuenta con cargos de asesinato de primer grado y espera extradición a los Estados Unidos. El asesinato llamó la atención al programa de Fast and Furious. Entre el año 2009 y el 2011, el Buró de Alcohol, Tabaco, Armas y Explosivos permitió la venta de armas con el fin de conseguir sospechosos en conexión con el cartel de droga. 2 de las armas vendidas por el programa se cree fueron encontradas en el lugar donde Terry fue disparado. Para Noticias 22, yo soy Melissa Barraza.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
This is KRWG Live.